It took a lot for us to get to this point.
If they can build it, we can erase it. Luckily, we got it done.
And it is over in Memphis. It's a Thunder avalanche.
And we're better now than we were at the beginning of the series. They pushed us to the limit.
Together we stand and fall on y'all. Ballin' with call it B-ball.
The young Thunder have won the West and they're heading to the NBA Finals.
Oklahoma City is finals bound for the first time in 13 years. So let's just remind everybody how the Thunder have rolled to get there. We're going to start, Chiney, in the first round here. The Thunder making quick work of the Grizzlies.
Yeah, they absolutely did. What we know is that this Grizzlies team likes to run too, but they sort of met their maker a little bit in this series, but also the health of John Morant dictated as well.
Yeah, John Morant, he left with an injury. They would mount a 29-point comeback in this game. They trailed by 27 when John Morant went down with that injury, and it was just all Thunder all the way back, and they would go on to win that series. Going ahead here to the conference semifinals now. This would be the Denver Nuggets, and this was their toughest test.
Oh, absolutely. You had the goal of slowing down the best player in the world in Nikola Jokic, and they did exactly that. They made him work on every possession.
Yeah, he had multiple 40-point double-doubles, including 44 and 22 in Game 1. And then, of course, you had the heroics of Aaron Gordon.
What a series, man. Game winners in the series before, and then this one. I was like, oh, is this where experience wins?
Aaron Gordon, once again, he was such a difference maker for the Nuggets in this series. And of course, you had famously SGA leaving the court smiling. Everyone would wonder why. Well, that's because they had some confidence. They would go on to win in 7 games, including a 32-point blowout in that Game 7. So then to the conference finals we go. They kept that momentum going against the Timberwolves. They cruised to a 2-0 lead. The Thunder were tested on the road, getting blown out in Game 3, and then they survived a nail-biter in Game 4. They would go on to win Game 5 by 30. Their NBA record 4th win by 30 or more this postseason. And of course, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was named the Western Conference Finals MVP. He averaged 31, 8, and 5 rebounds. And we knew that SGA, he was going to be dominant going into these playoffs. But there were some questions for Jalen Williams, and he answered the call. The All-Star duo, just the 5th pair of teammates to average 25 and 5 assists entering the NBA Finals in NBA history, with the last 3 all eventually going on to win the title. And if OKC brings home the trophy, Shai's going to join maybe the most exclusive club in NBA history. Only 3 players have ever won the scoring title, MVP, and NBA championship in the same season. Shaquille O'Neal in 2000, Michael Jordan 4 times, and then Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, then Lou Alcindor. But Kendrick Perkins, how would you view SGA if he's able to finish off this historic run?
2 things. Number 1, he will be the greatest Thunder ever. Ever. Yes, past Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. 3rd consecutive season of averaging over 30, shooting over 50% from the field, scoring title, MVP, conference MVP, going to the NBA Finals, winning the championship, and he's going to win Finals MVP. Secondly, he would get his superstar jacket and sit at the table with LeBron James, Jokic, Steph, KD, and Giannis, entering that room of being a legit superstar because he has checked all the boxes and there was nothing else for him to do but add to his legacy. So those are the 2 things. If SGA, or when SGA close the deal and bring a championship back to OKC, he would be the greatest Thunder ever, and he would join the room or sit at the table, shall I say, with those superstars and get his superstar jacket.
A superstar jacket? I don't think I can just go on Gap online and order one of those, can I? If I can, then maybe we should be doing that. But the thing about this Thunder team, somehow, some way, SGA's offensive dominance, it may not be the most impressive part, Chiney. It might be their defense.
I want you to look at this because through the conference finals, the Thunder have the best turnover differential by a team in a single postseason since the merger. I mean, this is great company. Now, if you don't believe me or these amazing numbers, maybe you'll believe this All-Star's words.
We were just a step slow at all those things, which kind of gave them,
They had 1 string.
Yeah, they were like on 1 string. Defensively, they had a
15 clippers, 1 string.
So this is how the Thunder slowed down the Ant-Man and moved on to the NBA Finals. Defensive plays like this. Here you're going to see Alex Caruso has really captained their defense. He's a Swiss Army knife defensively. He's guarding Rudy Gobert. It does not matter. He hides behind the screen, goes this way, and this is why everyone calls this team the most unselfish team in basketball. Plays like this. Look at the MVP saying, thanks, bro, from what you did defensively to me offensively. Now, again, Caruso has a great communication saying, hey, Hartenstein, go cleanse strong side so we can send help, because the scouting report says Naz Reid is going to turn, and he's right there on time, ready to also receive the outlet. But last but not least, I love this play because they know how to load up to the basketball. Right. They guarded almost 100% of Ant's drives. This is the load up. This is the zone. Shai's still able to go out there and close out, and watch, he makes the read on the cut, goes the other way, and this is where we saw a little bit of cousin on cousin crime because there's the dunk. Hey, bro, I thought he was going to go and be like, oh,
yeah, you're good.
No. He has business to hold down.
Through 9 games in Oklahoma, the Thunder have the best playoff scoring differential at home of any team entering the finals in NBA history. They've outscored opponents by 24.6 points a game. The next 3 closest teams, they all were eventually crowned champion. And Windy, you've covered the finals for decades now. Can you just put into context this kind of dominance from OKC? I'm not calling you old, I promise.
First off, there are 80 wins and 18 losses in 98 games this year. And by the way, whoever wins the East, I'd like to unfortunately remind you that they were 29-1 against the East. But their defense, here's all you need to know. They start 2 all-defensive players in Lou Dort and Jalen Williams. Okay, that's their starting unit. Then they come to the bench, and they bring off the bench Alex Caruso and Cason Wallace. I would submit that twosome as your lead 2 off the bench is the best twosome of defenders coming off the bench for any team in the last several generations. Maybe you bring 1 elite defender off the bench. You bring 2, and I'll also tell you that Chet Holmgren, if he hadn't injured his hip and missed enough games where he didn't qualify, he would have been probably all defense too. So they're running 3 or 4 or 5 all defensive players out there. Ask the Timberwolves how that felt.
Yeah, we haven't seen a Thunder team dominate like this in quite some time. But the question is it the best OKC squad ever? That was a question that was posed to Kevin Durant, actually, online. Who wins in a best-of-7 series, 2012 OKC or this Oklahoma team? He didn't give a direct answer, but he did say, quote, they are historically great. Great shooting all across the board, efficient go-to scorer, size, athleticism all across the board, versatility, shooting big, bruiser big, great coaching, just flat out perfectly crafted. That's high praise from one of the greatest to ever play, Perk. KD didn't quite make a pick, but you know I'm going to make you make one. Who you got here?
I got this year's Thunder team, 2025,
okay.
And it's no knock to ours in 2012, but like Wendy just alluded to, their depth, right? You talk about bringing in a Cason Wallace, Alex Caruso, guys who are going to get into you defensively, and all of a sudden you have a guy like Jalen Williams who's not afraid to mix it up, who was crucial for them in that Denver Nuggets series against Jokic. They're just too deep, right? We're talking about one of the greatest defensive teams in NBA history. Now, it's no knock when it comes down to what Russ or KD or James brought to the table, or even Serge Ibaka, but this team is just more polished, and they just have more, like, they have more adults in the room that just have old souls. Like, they act like they've been here before, and that's the scary part, and that's why I give them the edge.
Oh, now
but it will go 7 games.
Oh, it will go 7 games. So he had to make sure he rep for his squad in that way. They're still waiting to see who their opponent is going to be in these NBA Finals.
Who got home court, Malika?
The Oklahoma City Thunder. Let's get back to the East. The Pacers have 2 games to win 1, but as Michael Malone so aptly put it on NBA Countdown, that cannot be the mindset you have. We have 1 to win 1. We need to go in and get this one. They've won a Game 7 at Madison Square Garden before, but is it fair, Brian, to call tomorrow's Game 6 must win for Indianapolis?
It's not must win, but man, they do not want that heat. I will say, since January 1st, this team has won 70% of its games. They're 11-4 in the playoffs. They've closed out 4 series over the last 2 years. This is definitely a new feeling for them, but this shouldn't be something that they can't handle. They have to get to their game. Whoever gets to their game is going to win this one. If it's the Pacers, they're going to the finals. If it's the Knicks, they're going to Game 7.
I think the pressure is starting to mount, though. It's going to feel a whole lot different if you have to return for a Game 7 to Madison Square Garden. So Kendrick Perkins, in this Game 6, who you rocking with?
I'm going with the Pacers. The Pacers, this is their game 7. If they don't win this game 6, they're losing the series because they're not going to win in Madison Square Garden on Big Body Brunson turf. I just don't see it happening. They have no reason not to win game 6. I believe that it's going to be better. Pascal Siakam looked pissed off in his post-game interview. I think Miles Turner is going to come to life. The others are going to step up. I think game 6, the Pacers are going to take it home.
Chiney joining Ogwumike.
Hey!
What you got?
Look, I do think they need to have the Pacers a must-win mentality. So I have the Pacers in this one. But I know a lot of people were saying, okay, we were talking about star power and stardom, superstardom, and Tyrese Halliburton. It is a series for a reason. Now we have the opportunity to see how he responds. Because I think he's learning also on the fly as a young star in the NBA. Now he's at home in a very friendly environment, a place where he's made some great memories already. How is he going to respond to a lot of people saying, all right, we were crowning you as one of these amazing future faces of the league. Now what can you do with this moment? This is a star-making moment. So I think he's going to meet the moment.
I picked Pacers in 6 going into the series, so I'm going to roll with the Pacers in this game 6. Thank you.
Oh, that means we all picked
this means that we have cursed Indiana. Who would the Thunder rather see, do you think?
I think they'd rather see the Knicks because Indiana has too much depth. They play fast. They have a great coach that's strategizing. So I think they'd rather see the Knicks, but you never know.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on this one. Indiana has posed problems for so many teams. They didn't see it coming necessarily. Indiana, though, they need to get this game 6. Brian, I kind of disagree with you. I think this is as close to a must-win situation as they've been in a very long time because they've been cruising through these first couple of rounds. All right, that's going to do it for NBA Today. Enjoy your weekend, friends. We will see you right here on Monday, and we will know what happened in this game 6.
Now you can see stuff. Okay.